Hey, welcome back to another Garrett Tailgate Talk. Today we are here with Mr. Mike Ball. He is a retired New York police officer. So Mike, give us a little background on what you used to do and how you involved metal detectors in your line of duty work and stuff back in the day.
I was a crime scene investigator for our sheriff's department here, and my job was to go to crime scenes and collect evidence and make sure that any evidence that we located was preserved and presented to court. The result was to get a conviction for the crime. And because we're in a very rural area, a lot of the items that we deal with, the crimes that we deal with, crime scenes, are in the woods or outside.
So you spend a lot of time in the woods now that you're retired, right?
Yeah, my new job, after I retired, I got a job. Basically, I'm a property manager, and I manage big tracts of land for a gentleman from New York.
Oh, okay. And so while you're out on the land, you sometimes take your detector with you? And
Yes, a lot of times either I'll be walking or driving in my truck through the property. One of the things I do like about this machine is I can take it with me when I'm walking, and it's not heavy and cumbersome.
Right.
So when I'm out walking in the woods and I see an area that looks like it may have been inhabited at one time, an old foundation or a bottle dump or something like that, just go around with the machine and check it.
Yeah, and you're being up here in New York and Connecticut and all this area up here, you'll have cellar holes and stuff like that, so you know when you come across something, it's very obvious that there was someone that lived there at one point, because you can tell that it was a structure of something.
Yes.
And then that's a good spot to find coins. What's some of the finds that you've found with your detector since you've been using it? Or do you have anything that, I mean, I know you're still a novice, so.
Right, I'm fairly new at this. The only use I ever had for a metal detector prior to my retirement was doing crime scene work, and that's pretty specific. We're looking for shell casings, knives, any kind of weapon that may have been used in the crime. Now it's a curiosity thing, but so far I've found a lot of coins and a lot of different metal objects, like old milk containers that they used years ago, and hinges from the doors in the house. As a matter of fact, today I just found the latch for a door. It's a very, very old latch, it appears to be.
Pretty cool. You got a horseshoe out here the other day too, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. Awesome. Yeah, that's a big horse too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they're out here farming and stuff, so that's pretty neat.
One of the other things I like
Don't
about...
worry about it.
My phone's talking. That's weird. Okay.
One of the other things I like about the Apex machine is that not only is it lightweight and easy to carry through the woods, it's not cumbersome, but it recharges. I can just plug it in my truck at any point, and it's always ready to go when I'm ready to go. I don't have to worry about getting batteries, looking for batteries. It's always available to me, and it's always charged.
Yeah, it's a cool little feature, and that's one of my favorites. I also like the iron audio volume. So I know out here when you're searching, we were doing it earlier, there's lots and lots of iron. So what I do is I go into the machine and I turn it down. You can turn the volume down so it's just a subtle in the background, so you can still hear it, so you know you're in a home site because you're going to hear all the iron, but it's not overcoming because you're just like all in your ear the whole time. So it's a cool feature, and try checking that out sometimes.
Yeah, because here it's an old farm, and it's an old farmhouse foundation and an old barn, and you can see where the silos were and where the milking station was, and there's a lot of just junk iron here, and as you said, it just goes constantly.
Yeah.
And then you dig up a big hunk of nothing, just a big hunk of iron.
Yeah, someone's got to dig it, right?
All right. But if you don't dig it, you won't know what it is.
Exactly. So I know you were saying that you used a metal detector when you were a police officer, but how is it like transitioning now into a hobby side where you're not looking for something specific like a shell casing or a knife or something? Now it's just kind of looking for coins or relics or anything like that. Does it seem like it's a fairly easy transition from the one
Well,
to
to
the
be
other?
honest with you, I've been retired for some time now, and because we work for the government, we don't get the best equipment, and a lot of times the equipment Like the last detectors that we had there were state of the art at the time, but they didn't have near the functions that this equipment has. The way that you're able to change the different tone settings or what you're looking for is way different than what we had. When I first started, we had a big square box on a pole.
Wow.
And we were able to, over time, get a newer one, which now would be obsolete compared to what we have here.
Right.
And one of the biggest problems was being out in the field trying to find a piece of evidence, and the batteries go dead. And then you're scurrying to find batteries, and you may be way out in the woods somewhere, and you're stuck. With these, the batteries last a very long time that I can see. And again, it's easy to charge, so there's no reason to have to look for batteries. It should be charged all the time.
Yeah, some people actually carry those little chargers that you can buy from the stores and plug them in, and they'll somehow rig it up or strap it onto their detector, and that way it's like a backup juice, and it just keeps going while they're out there. Not have to worry about charging it. And that's one cool feature about these machines nowadays, that they're rechargeable. You don't have to worry about the batteries.
Exactly.
So,
and it would the new with the USB ports in the truck now, and the USB ports on the charger, you just stick them into the USB port, and they're ready to go.
Yeah. Cool. So what's something that you're looking forward to finding? You know, you have a bucket list, you have a certain thing that you're specific. I know you've said you found some coins and stuff like that, but is there anything like you'd really like to find that would be kind of cool to you, that just saving the history part of it?
Well, actually, truth be told, I'm happy with anything that I found that looks like it was aged, or doesn't necessarily have to be of value, but it's very interesting for me to be out in the woods and find something and know that somebody had that such a long time ago. Like yesterday, I was out on another piece of property up in Dutchess County, and it was an old Boy Scout camp, and I found the neckerchief holder with the Boy Scout emblem embossed on it.
Embossed, yeah.
And I remember when I dug it up and looked at it, I was thinking that some poor little kid got in a lot of trouble for losing this piece of equipment.
Yeah, he probably did.
And he probably got yelled at.
Yep.
Probably had to pay for a new one.
Yeah, and they probably weren't cheap back then either.
No,
you know?
And this Boy Scout camp hasn't been used since the 70s, so it's been laying there all that time. But I found that to be very interesting when I found that. And that's what I like about it. Whenever you dig something up and you see what it is, you just make an observation of what, I always do, make an observation of who might have lost that, or
what is the history behind it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like I was out with some friends. We were working a piece of property, and she found an old harmonica.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It wasn't complete, but we were thinking that some poor kid or some guy was walking through the woods or walking around the house, because it was by a foundation, and it must have fell out of his pocket or fell off his wagon or something, and he lost his harmonica.
Yeah, and I mean, that could have been, his life savings just to buy that one little thing.
Right, and it might have been his number one piece of solace in his whole world back
Exactly,
then.
Yeah. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us and talk more about your Apex and stuff, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.